national anthem represents the beauty, pride, strength, and resilience of Jamaica and our people. My name is Agent Sasko.
You're watching CBX Caribbean Business Exchange. Your region, your business, your source. You're watching.
Good morning, everyone. It's approximately 10:15. I'm actually wired like a media practitioner, so I think in terms of 15, 10 o'clock, 10:15, 10:30, quarters to 11, and 11 o'clock. So I believe we have a majority to officially begin. Good morning and welcome to the Jamaica Stock Exchange. It's Wednesday, August 24, and let me tell you, if you didn't up and say thank you for opening my eyes today to your creator, because it's absolutely beautiful outside. We got a little rain recently, and it's a nice, gentle wind, and the sun not too hot, too early. So, indeed, it is a wonderful day. May I ask you to stand as we start off with the greatest anthem anywhere in the world, the national anthem of Jamaica.
Our national anthem represents the beauty, pride, strength, and resilience of Jamaica and our people. My name is Agent Sasko. Please stand as we honor Jamaica, our culture, and our history.
Please remain standing as we invite Ms. Andrea Kelly, the General Manager of the JCSD and the JCSD Trustee Services, to lead us off in prayer.
Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful day. Good morning, everyone. Okay, let us bow our heads in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we are gathered here today on this special day to thank you that we can be witnesses to this great moment, the launch of a Caribbean Business Exchange CBX cable television channel. Dear Lord, we ask for your blessings and the programs that we will broadcast on the business CBX. We know that only through you that we will reap success. We ask for your blessings on the reporters who will bring the stories, the editors, the videographers, and the manager of this new team. We thank you for the great minds who have worked to make this a possibility and for having the vision. We pray for continued blessings on everyone whose contribution will make the CBS a success, for the many programs that will be aired, and for the many viewers who will be educated, made aware of opportunities, informed on various facts and topics, for those whose business will reap success through the CBX. We ask that you will fill every speaker today with your words and guide the remaining proceedings for the rest of this program as we give you praise for the launch of the CBX in your precious name. Amen.
And thank you, Andrea. And ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. Andrea, I felt like you didn't leave out anybody, even the group you're thanking. And I kind of felt that you even said, thank you for the butterflies outside. Good morning, beautiful people. How are you? All right? No, man, I don't think that you all recognize that you are beautiful. So since you feel that you're not, turn to your neighbor and say, you look good. Turn to the next one on the other side and say, you look good. Yeah, because sometimes as business people, we get, caught up with, boy, I need to get back to the office and I can't smile, or I need to make sure that the numbers are right and I can't do this. So it is this morning, in the midst of celebrating ourselves and celebrating history and the launch we're about to have today, that you also recognize that things are going for yourself and you look good. So thank you so much for joining us here. I feel special that I'm on the ground. Greatest stock exchange anywhere in the world. Give yourselves a round of applause. Dr. Street Forest, you deserve every commendation. And I'll tell you a little secret that I had to bust with Dr. Street Forest not too long ago. Last week, the team was actually in Florida, in the United States. And I just happened to have a friend who was attending the function that they were at. And Dr. Street Forest and the team acquitted themselves wonderfully, so much so that I got a call singing, literally. This is a man now, so when a man starts singing on the phone, it's not necessary, and especially when he's not a trained singer. And he was just really and truly lavishing the team from the Jamaica Stock Exchange with all the praises and all the adjectives of adoration that could be given. So once again, a round of applause to the team here at the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Now this morning, the Jamaica Stock Exchange is moving again in the right direction, moving again in history and transformation and under visionary leadership. This morning, we're going to launch Caribbean Business Exchange, CBX, and it's a dedicated cable channel which will feature content and messaging produced by the Jamaica Stock Exchange and selected brokers. The channel will be an opportunity to present more in-depth market-related information, analysis, and entertainment features in a format appealing to a wide audience. Essentially, become too financially literate until I was maybe in my 20s, 30s, late in life. I'm expecting that this will be a far, far way, will go a far way in terms of ensuring that generations to come, like my son and my son's children, by the time they are able to talk, they understand things to do with the stock exchange. They are financially literate, that our children will be wired so much so that they will be very bullish. Am I using stock exchange terms, right? In terms of looking really to grow economically. And this, let me tell you, will augur well, not just for the stock exchange being the #1 stock exchange in a developing country, but eventually, remember Jamaica has a 2030 vision to be a developed country. It will, I believe, go a far way in ensuring that Jamaica gets to that place of a developed world status. So certainly we're doing big things to ensure that we get it right, especially for generations to come. But you know, a lady who can talk and talk and talk about the stock exchange and about the great things that are happening, about companies that can come in and the rewards and benefits that they will have, is a woman I have utmost respect for. In her humility, she shows that she's a leader. In her visionary steps, she shows that she can transform. And in her quietness, there is a strength like no other. Who am I speaking of? One can tell me. Dr. Marlene Street Forrest. Dr. Street Forrest, please come. The Managing Director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. She will officially welcome you and tell us what's going on this morning.
Master of Ceremonies, Miss Naomi Francis, Ambassador of Cuba in Jamaica, His Excellency Fermin Gabriel Quinones Sanchez, Mr. Michael McNaughton, Board Member of the JC, Mrs. Susan Golson, Board Member of the JC, other members of the Board of the JC and the JCSD, Mrs. Therese Turner-Jones, esteemed guest speaker, who will be introduced later on in the program, Mr. Marlon Yard, Managing Director, Barbados Stock Exchange, is joining online, Ms. Eva Mitchell, Chief Executive Officer, Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, Mr. Trevor Blake, Managing Director, Eastern Caribbean Stock Exchange, Mr. Dirk Jan de Graaf, Chief Executive Officer of the Dutch Caribbean Stock Exchange, Mrs. Marika Guadalupe Caballero, Deputy General Manager, Panama Stock Exchange. Those are all joining online. Mr. Lloyd Distant, immediate past President, Jamaica Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Delroy Morgan, Senior Director, Product and Enterprise, Cable and Wireless Business. Mr. Dane Broadborough, Interim CEO, Barita Investments Limited. Mrs. Tracy Ann Spence, Chief Executive Officer, NCB Capital Markets. Mr. Cecil Foster, Managing Director, Fosterich Group of Companies. Mr. Ronaldo Davila Gabalbardo, Second Secretary in charge of Political and Economic Affairs, Cuba. Ms. Andrea Kelly, General Manager, Jamaica Central Securities Depository. Mr. Andre Gooden, Chief Regulatory Officer. Mr. Andre Gooden, Group Business Development Officer. Other members, distinguished members who are joining us today, other members of the JC team, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. That sounds better. Thank you for being here, whether you are joining in person or online. Today has been eagerly anticipated by our exchange ever since we agreed a little over 2 years ago to provide an avenue where we could enhance our services to the financial sector by utilizing and enhancing our data to provide all sectors of the economy with focused and in-depth business information on the Caribbean markets in an engaging, educational, and entertaining way that captures the imagination of all. And Naomi spoke about from the young, not so young, to the old. We want to capture the imagination of all. And you know, so much so, we are also targeting those younger audience who is becoming more business savvy and with a thirst for more and more information. I'm therefore pleased to welcome you to the launch of the Caribbean Business Exchange, CBX. It's a division of the Jamaica Stock Exchange with its tagline, "Your region, your business, your source." CBX is committed to providing market news, daily updates, and programs reflecting our regional business realities in a timely manner. As we seek to provide value to our issuers and investors, we believe through our rich storehouse of data, so we are going to be data mining, and those from other content providers of business information, we can provide another source of business news to the public, which will redound to further development of our region, thus helping Jamaicans and our regional people to have a more rounded view of the Caribbean business community and assisting the globe to better understand us. In fact, I believe this network will be a tool to build the regional business and financial development, and who better is there to report on us but us. I wish to thank our board for having the confidence in the team to achieve this milestone, and all those who dedicated their time in advancing the development from concept to completion. Naturally, we say upfront that this is just one step in our data transformation and utilization journey. And even this aspect of the journey is still in its infancy, but the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. We pride ourselves in having a deliberate plan for market growth through education, which is why we are having CBX, via annual conferences, National Investor Week, our e-campus, and other conduits such as our website and YouTube. And we have found that as we go this journey of market news, market education, it's never enough. So we know that CBX will also provide that avenue for more content. However, we believe we must explore and deliver through all avenues to reach our audience and for our brokers and listed companies to reach and be reached. As with every plan, the devil is in the detail. So we are thankful for the guidance of technical people in the business who assisted us, and for Flow and Digicel, whose personal interrogation of us was really deep, but it added value to the story to be credible and exciting. We also interrogated our market through survey, and the result was conclusive, with approximately 70% of those interviewed stating that they needed more in-depth business information. That's why we are here. Today we launched CBX on channel 143 on Flow Network and 28 on. Over the coming months, we will be rolling out programs under the business pillars of 1, local business and features, and where we will be speaking about beyond the front desk, let's talk stocks, inside the boardroom, and others. The second pillar, international business news and features, where we'll be giving update from NASDAQ, Luxembourg, Canadian Stock Exchange, and others. And the third pillar, regional business news, where we will be featuring regional conference presentations, daily updates from regional stock exchanges. And the next pillar, sustainability, where we will be looking at UN gender issues, JSSE Features and Sustainable Stock Exchange TV. Next pillar is that of entertainment, where we will be looking at business movies, stock market games, family game show, and others. And the next, innovation, where we will have the business pitches and how do I do X or Y in the capital markets. And the next feature is the special features. And that we plan to have that be very exciting. We consider that this role we have taken on has a heavy responsibility of ensuring that you are provided with first-in-class information from regional and international businesses, and we think we are up to that challenge. We're also encouraged by the support we are already receiving from our business community who have come on board with sponsorships. Allow me to mention a few: JMMB, NCB, Capital Markets, Pulse, Burrito, Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, Deramon, JDIC, Fosrich, Dollar, Jamaica Tea, Scotia Bank, Courts, DBJ, Kingston Properties, Bank of Jamaica, and we are all proud that they have come on board. I wish to personally acknowledge, in no specific order, our regional stock exchanges who have also determined that they are on board with content. And those are, as I said in my welcome, Barbados Stock Exchange, Trinidad Stock Exchange, Eastern Caribbean, Canadian Securities Exchange. Those are some of the exchanges that will be on board. We wish that after this launch, there will be others that will continue to complete the CBX tapestry. Today is a great day for the JSE, where we can proudly welcome you who have joined us in person and our friends and supporters online, and inform you that CBX is operational and will be a vibrant source of your business news in your region, operating on networks that are widely distributed in over 30 territories in the Caribbean. I said in my opening that we understand that to build a vibrant regional financial market is a process, and we welcome you to join us in that journey as we resolve to make a positive and lasting difference within the capital markets. Again, welcome to the Stock Exchange.
Doc, thank you so much. You know, one of the things about Dr. Street Forest is that she thanks everybody. She knows how to thank everybody. Thank you so much, Doc. Really appreciate it. And can I say a special welcome to those who are joining online? Can I ask those in our audience here in Kingston, Jamaica, and the technical guys, if you could, just get a camera to show the audience for us. And I want you to do something for our virtual audience. Just wave at them and say, "Welcome to CBX." So we're going to practice. Ready? Wave at them and say, "Welcome to CBX." One more time. That was practice. One more time. Ready? Wave and say, "Welcome to CBX." Thank you so much. That was very nice of you. And certainly I hope that those who are online feel the love that we have in Jamaica for them, especially our regional partners. And I'm excited, Doc, to hear about, how we can think global in terms of looking at what's going on in NASDAQ and Luxembourg and the rest of them, and maybe even create younger stockbrokers, school age, maybe high school age, who will say, yeah, let me go and try to get more information and start doing this, stock market thing myself. So I really think that this is just so much of a valuable contribution to the media space and also to the business space in Jamaica. So give yourself a round of applause again. No, let me tell you why I know this is in good hands. There's a gentleman who has been around in media, the media world for a long time in Jamaica. I'm quite young in the media space, I think, but I suppose my little over 2 decades experience in media would have caused me to come in contact with this gentleman. He's passionate about media. He has done a lot in terms of the development of the cable industry, in particular in Jamaica. And I'm happy to see that the stock exchange has engaged him to be part of CBX. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Fitzroy Prendergast, who is the station manager for CBX.
Thank you, thank you. Good morning, good morning. All protocols observed. It's good to be at this launch. And it's a particularly exciting time for us here at the Stock Exchange. It's kind of hard to speak after the managing director, but I will try. Businesses is the engine of growth for any country. Yet, we have observed that business news is limited to 1 to 5 minutes of airtime, with multiple businesses mentioned within that space. This cannot be adequate for viewers and listeners to appreciate what such businesses are doing. 1 to 5 minutes will not provide the news and educational content that is needed to further develop the business sector. We believe that businesses should get not only an entire day of reporting and analyzing, but also a whole night of persons in the Caribbean to hear, digest, and make the most intelligent decision about how to do their business. They usually say that the persons who sees a problem has the solution. This is where the Jamaica Stock Exchange stepped forward to fill the vacuum that was needed. Getting us here required many brainstorming sessions, frank discussions, and thoughtful deliberations, and now we are at the launch. Some regions, we would classify it as the naming ceremony, a prestigious celebration of the newest, youngest member added to the family. It speaks of culture, of love, of life, and of a shared common vision. Yes, it takes a village, all of us, to create a future from which we all benefit and of which we will be proud. The initiative will support the Jamaica Stock Exchange in its mandate of empowering and educating Caribbean-wide investment community, demystifying investments for the Caribbean people, and strengthen market participation locally and across the region. As CBX will be aired in over 30 countries in the region, this will allow us to offer advertisers access to the wider Caribbean, opening a wider regional audience. Time would fail me to thank all those who contributed to make this possible. However, in applauding these individuals, it is also part of the story of how CBX came into fruition. Firstly, I want to thank my wife, as it meant many long hours away from home in the embryonic development of this network and ensuring that a professional state-of-the-art studio for viewers was available to enjoy. My admiration is also there for the managing director, Dr. Marlene Street Forrest, because of course she kept us focused with foresight and astute leadership for this special day to arrive at the exchange. The marketing department, led by Mr. Neville Ellis, the information technology department, led by Suzette McNaught, and the HR department, led by Mrs. Doreen Parsons Smith, as their support in the trenches was necessary to operationalize the vision. Could you give them a round of applause for me, please? On a lighter note, I must publicly thank the Managing Director's Executive Assistant, Mrs. Angela Bailey, I don't know if she's here, for expertly fitting us into the schedule of the Managing Director. Right, ma'am? when necessary without unduly affecting the business of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Your support did not go unnoticed. I also want to thank the curious staff who personally stopped me and inquired about what was happening and took the time to give suggestions. Your interest and participation gave a sense of shared ownership of the vision, for which we are forever grateful. I must also publicly thank and name my assistant, Shamali Hill, for his dedication and support, quietly getting the job done despite many late hours and late lunch. I thank CBX's welcoming audience who have come on site at the exchange and persons online to support this vision of a 24-hour business news channel for Jamaica and the region. As the tagline expresses, your region, your business, your source. The message of wealth creation for businesses and individuals will be well expounded. News you will be able to use daily to make your company stronger and customers happier. Let us work together to transform the business landscape across the region. We can do all things through Christ that strengthens us. Let us go forth and execute. The work has just begun. Thank you.
Thank you, Fitzroy. You know, I love that. You make sure to thank your wife, because, that's a smart man right there. All right, thank you, Fitzroy. Fitzroy mentioned a few things that I want to just ensure that we, highlight. The tagline, your region, your business, your source. From day one, we know that this is about collaboration because we're not an island, though physically we are, but we can't do it alone in life. So we really have to build partnerships and collaborate to make it even better. So I think that is very, very important for us to understand that in looking at creating a new media platform, really, that integrates all of the traditional and social and new media, that we look to collaboration to ensure that we get this done and get this done well. So thank you, Fitzroy. Really appreciate it. Now this is my exciting part of the program because I get to see in the flesh, although I really have seen many of them, some of the heads of the companies that trade on the stock exchange. Sometimes when you see numbers and see words, you go, but who are the people behind it? Well, this morning, we bring them to you in the flesh to say what it means to have a regional dedicated channel looking at business and stock markets, information and advice. So let's first welcome Mr. Dane Broadba, the interim CEO of Burrito Investments. Dane? All right. Young, strong, agile, just like the company, right? And certainly just like its performance on the stock exchange to, of course, give an endorsement of the station. Dane.
Morning, everyone. All remaining protocols observed. I'm really happy to see this launch this morning. It's been a little while coming. We kind of had to navigate through COVID a bit. But, we know a lot, there are a lot of other outlets for news of this nature. But it's really refreshing to see that there's a station that talks to us directly in the brokerage and analyst community throughout the region and to the wider regional investment community at large. So, when I think about the Caribbean Business Exchange, I envision this being the outlet that investors tune into when actively participating in the stock market at any level. From those just learning, just trying to understand how it works and what the various companies are about, to seasoned investors looking for specific targeted insights to craft their next strategy or rebalance their portfolios. And of course, our fund managers as well. Now, the financial literacy push these days is very much pronounced. And that's a good thing, right? And definitely Burrito and in particular, our foundation is committed to advancing financial literacy outcomes as a part of its education and youth development pillar. But in what is, what I'd call a fast emerging space, I really look forward to the Caribbean Business Exchange sort of establishing itself as an authority. And I know that Barita and the rest of the brokerage community will be keen to support with content in that respect. So, I think this and other similar initiatives that promote financial literacy are especially timely now, given the impending reintroduction of short selling, and of course, with all the opportunities and the risks that presents. And of course, we expect that to have an eventual impact on the efficiency of our markets, and of course, the birthing of other complementary financial instruments. So I think, there'll be a lot to cover there. I'm particularly interested in the eventual progression of your Beyond the Front Desk feature. That looks to kind of really get into the operations of a lot of these listed companies. And it's a perspective that I think the ILS community, I'm sure, will appreciate. And we anticipate that it will be structured so that it really answers their burning questions. So, looking forward to seeing all that the station will be, the positive impact it will have on our markets, and of course, congratulations to the JSE on the launch of another great initiative as we look to advance the development of our markets in Jamaica and the region.
Thank you, Dane. And Barita is doing quite well. Yes, I described Dane as young, agile, and energetic. Thank you so much. Let's then have Tracy Spence, the Chief Operating Officer at NCB Capital Markets. And I think I'm setting up myself because as I see Tracy walk, I'm tempted to use 3 more adjectives. And I'd say she walks like a determined woman, quite elegant, and seemingly impactful. So, Tracy, your time. Miss Determined, Miss Elegant, and Impactful.
Thank you very much, Naomi. A pleasant good morning, ladies and gentlemen. NCB Capital Markets is honored to have been invited to share remarks on this monumental day. As a regional entity, we welcome the CBX, and I want to congratulate Dr. Street Forest and her team on the launch of this game-changing venture. We currently operate in 4 territories across the Caribbean: Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, Barbados, and Trinidad and Tobago, all of which are target territories for the CBX. So the CBX is therefore timely as it aligns with our own regional aspirations, especially as we seek to further expand our regional footprint. At all spheres of the investment space, information remains a critical tool necessary for day-to-day decision-making. By launching the CBX, the JSE stands to bolster the expansion of access to vital information that will benefit all stakeholders within the financial ecosystem. It is this sort of cross-sharing of information that will further bridge the gap in regional connectivity. Tapping into success stories across the Caribbean forms a powerful way of encouraging regional growth and development. Just this morning, our entity in Trinidad and Tobago, NCB Merchant Bank, is currently hosting its 2nd SME IPO seminar, where the SMEs there get a chance to hear from and interact with some of the companies listed on our very own Jamaica Junior Stock Exchange. So NCB Capital Markets is right there with you as it relates to this sort of regional collaborative communication. We share very similar goals as it relates to increasing investor education and deepening the capital markets within the region. With our mandate to be a digital-first wealth management firm, we have also been leveraging our digital platforms and social media to do our part in investor education and promoting market information. The evolution of technology over the years has created a level of access to information never before seen. This has significantly increased the investor base, as well as the number of companies that we now see seeking funding via the JSE. However, we have seen how fragmented the media can be. So while the public has endless choices as it relates to consumption of information, in some cases, the information may not be accurate or it may present it in a format that's not easily understandable. This poses a risk for investor education and financial literacy on a whole within the region. So the need for credible sources such as the CBX has proven quite essential. The CBX represents an excellent platform for market data and other information to be presented in a manner that speaks truth and resonates with its target audience. NCB Capital Markets would like to again commend the JSC on this move, and we look forward to the incredible prospects of the CBX. The JSC has our commitment to continued collaboration for the advancement of the Caribbean's regional sector. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
You know, Tracy, thank you. The thing about being a moderator and an MC is that you have to contain yourself, because Tracy deserves 10 rounds of applause and standing ovations. Let me tell you why. She made the point concerning just this plethora of media that's out there, that everybody feels that their opinion is fact, and that there is need for a platform that gives credible, factual information, not just something that somebody would dream up and say, yeah, I think so, and therefore it is. Not quite so in life, really. And the information left in the hands of persons who are wayward can certainly cause market destabilization. And so thank you, Tracy, for sharing that perspective and certainly enlightening us and too endorsing the station. And so I think I've gotten into problems, but you know, I try to get out of every problem. So with every problem comes a solution. So I started out giving adjectives to each person who came up, and it just dawned on me that really the adjectives that I've assigned to Dane and Tracy so far have really essentially epitomized what the stock exchange is about. You know, determined stocks, you know, people who are behind them that are determined to see improvement and growth. There's an elegance too in which companies operate, an impact that they want to create. There's a young and agile way of doing things on the stock market, and certainly those things augur well for our next speaker too. He's a man who I have sat in several meetings with, and I want to tell you that, so remember I said that Dr. Streetfar, she's quiet, but she's absolutely a giant and a lioness. This next man certainly is. And I can tell you his impact is far-reaching. His passion for Jamaica and seeing Jamaica grow, I believe, is understated and undervalued. And Lloyd Distant, let me tell you personally, in front of an audience, I want to thank you for the work you do in terms of helping to develop Jamaica and helping us to create solutions for some of the problems we have. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Lloyd Distant. He's the immediate past president of the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you so much, Madam Master of Ceremonies. Dr. Street Forest and our guest speaker for this morning, Mrs. Therese Turner-Jones, and of course with all introductory protocols having been observed by Dr. Street Forest, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and to the viewers out there as well. You know, when Naomi closes off on me like that, it's hard to, I'm not thinking everybody's going to expect some big presentation from me, but believe me, it's just going to be very simple. So let me just start off. A little known fact about me is that I completed my master's with a focus in finance in New York in the late 80s. Right? So at that point in time, Wall Street was the big thing. And of course, the movie Wall Street came out just around that time. And one of the things that has always stuck with me in my life is this infamous line by Gordon Gekko, that the most valuable commodity I know of is information. No, Gordon Gekko is not necessarily the person I want anybody to emulate, obviously. But the point that he made is so poignant to me, because having seen some information around the CBX platform, I absolutely see it as closing a gap in many respects. And expanding, in closing that gap, it also expands access to information for many of us as investors, wanting to get up to speed, wanting to get more up-to-date insights other than what is either spoon-fed or guided to us by our brokers, respect to our broker community. But this would also allow us to have a deeper insights and making better decisions around our investment or prospective investments. It also provides for us what I see this platform being able to do is to provide clearer perspective on the current operations and the future direction of our industries and our companies as well. This increased access to information that I mentioned before is very much about providing and improving transparency, which of note is one of the JSC's core values and one of the first of its listed, certainly one of the core objectives and one of its first listed values as well. So in providing this platform, and it was mentioned by the previous speaker in her remarks, this opportunity to provide increased financial literacy also is something that jumps out for us at the Chamber, because we expect this will go a far way in bringing a new set of investors into the fold. Further to these points and so many of the other great attributes, so many great attributes of this platform, we also see and note the purposeful and deliberate embracing of our regional, Caribbean, and more international counterparts as well. Again, was mentioned before, certainly from the Chamber's perspective, our engagement across with the Caribbean Chambers of Commerce as well. We see this as an important opportunity for expanding this kind of visibility of our own market, and of course, the engagement and access to other markets within the region as well. This communication medium, this platform, we consider to be well needed. And we laud the JSC, as we have done on so many other occasions, with the great initiatives they have rolled out, that we see this as absolutely a monumental initiative, and really want to applaud Dr. Street Forrest and your team as well. JC, yeah, didn't do that, of course. It is the JCC's hope that as more information is disseminated, more businesses will contemplate utilizing the stock exchange as an approach to raising capital, as well as streamlining and expanding their business. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Mr. Street Forrest and your team, Jamaica Stock Exchange, very well done.
Lloyd, very well done indeed. Thank you so much. And thank you for the endorsement of the stock exchange. We now have some of our partners who are online who will share with us. Can I just give a shout out to all companies on the stock market, including Fosrich? I believe Mr. Cecil Foster should be speaking with us. I think he's traveling. He should be virtual, but I believe maybe having a little bit of challenge in signing on. So until Cecil comes, may I invite then Mr. Marlon Yard of the Barbados Stock Exchange, who is joining us virtually. We gave him a little love, well, lots of Jamaican love, by waving and all of that. So Marlon, I beg your pardon, Marlon Yard, yes, I hope you can wave back and send us some Barbados love this morning as you come on to endorse the CBX. Marlon, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Sorry about that. I forgot I was muted.
Good
First,
morning.
let me give salutations to all of you, to the board of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, to the brokers there, to all the members of the audience, for all the distinguished guests, and of course to my dear friend, Dr. Marlene Street Forrest. You know, one of the attributes I can say of Marlene is that she is very unselfish person. She does things and she makes sure that she involves the other exchanges in the region. I should also give salutations to my other colleagues, Eva, Trevor, and the other stock exchanges from the region who are here this morning. I want to thank the Jamaica Stock Exchange on this invitation to be part of being part of the CBX launch. I really thank them for their vision and their foresight, and as has been said more than one occasion, for the vision and foresight of Marlene in being the spearhead of this initiative. So I want to thank them for that. Now, you know, I always say, and being at the Stock Exchange for some years, the role, as I grow older, I realize that the role of the Stock Exchange is paramount to the economic development of the region and of the countries that we operate. You know, I always say there are two main features of stock exchanges, two main roles that we fulfill. We mobilize the resources for sustainable economic growth, financial resources for sustainable economic growth in our territory, in our various countries, and also, and we promote good governance, good corporate governance practices in the companies that are listed on our region. And part of ensuring good governance is that information is made available to participants in the marketplace, the investors and the issuers from the various that might be listed on our various companies. So we fulfill that role. And one of the things that we do very well is that we allow SMEs to be able to raise capital and grow their business from the time that they're listed on our exchanges. So we provide a viable route. But I always say that, you know, at the heart of everything that we do, there's always that thing that we must consider, and that's people. You know, sometimes we get caught up in everything else that we do. But people is at the heart of everything that we do. And this initiative by the Jamaica Stock Exchange allows us to tap into touching people's lives, in enabling them to make decisions for their future financial development and benefit. You know, there are many things that affect our lives. You know, we want to make sure that we provide for the education of our children. We want to make sure that we have our own homes. We can live in comfort and security. We want to plan for our retirement. We want to make sure that we have pensions in place, and we want to make sure that we develop an asset portfolio and an investment portfolio that allows us to do these things. And at the heart of it all, stock exchanges provide that framework to allow us to do so. And this initiative that has been put forward by the Jamaica Stock Exchange, CBX, allows people to get information to make the right decisions as it relates to their future financial growth. So I want to, again, wish this initiative well, and you can count on the support of the Barbados Stock Exchange. We were approached and we said that we will do it. We gave it much thought, and we said, yes, this is an initiative that is worthy of our contribution. And besides, if Marlene asked me to do something, I can do it. You know, that's just how it is. You know, we have a strong relationship for over, you know, almost 20 years now. And I'm very supportive of the initiatives that she would bring forward. So I want to congratulate Marlene and her team. I want to congratulate the setting up of this new station. And I look forward for helping us to help people make good decisions as it relates to their own financial well-being going forward. So thank you and all the best, and you can count on our support at the Barbados Stock Exchange.
Thank you so much, Marlon Yaird from the Barbados Stock Market for joining us online. You know, while Marlon was speaking, it dawned on me that all of us are past 20, right? Some just barely past 20. And maybe 20 years ago, people were still using typewriters. You know, the stock market wasn't really real time. You couldn't have this kind of interaction where we're interfacing with each other from the region and the world, and also using a digital platform as we're using now. And so the transformation of not just the Jamaica Stock Exchange, but the regional stock exchanges, and certainly the media, is a great coming together. I was going to use the word marriage. It's a wonderful marriage, really, in terms of how technology can be used to drive change, and as Marlon said, touch people's lives. So thank you, Marlon, for your endorsement. Let's now go over to Trevor Blake. Trevor is also online. He is the Managing Director of the Eastern Caribbean Stock Exchange, and he will also now give us his endorsement. Trevor, good morning to you from beautiful Kingston, Jamaica. We're right along the Kingston Harbor, so I don't know if your vantage point is better than ours, but we find ourselves very, very blessed in Jamaica as we speak. Good morning to you, Trevor.
Good morning to you, Madam Master of Ceremonies. Well, that's an oxymoron. Madam Chair of the proceedings this morning. I wouldn't compare beauty. We are all of the Caribbean, and the Caribbean is the most beautiful place in the world. Which one is more beautiful than the other? We wouldn't get into that debate. But I am delighted to be here to be a part of this auspicious ceremony this morning to launch the Caribbean Business Exchange Channel, the CBX. This is indeed a welcome and necessary addition to the financial market ecosystem in the region. And I warmly congratulate my colleague and friend, Dr. Marlene Street Forrest, and her team at Jamaica Stock Exchange for this, the latest in the JSE's suite of groundbreaking initiatives. Markets run on information, and indeed it was a former US SEC chairman, Arthur Levitt, who characterized quality information as the lifeblood of markets. But just as important as the quality of the information is the timely and pervasive dissemination. Good information would be practically meaningless if it is privatized or inadequately or restrictively distributed. Fair and efficient markets depend heavily on readily available market data and other forms of information. As operators of exchanges and other market infrastructures in the region, I think we all recognize that one of the drivers of market development is a financially literate public. And I think we could all agree that the publics in our respective jurisdictions are generally financially illiterate, although this will vary from country to country. What I know we'll all agree on is that more needs to be done to get our publics that critical level of financial literacy in order to drive the development of the markets and by extension, the economies and economic development. The CBX channel is therefore both critical and timely, as it will provide a medium through which market data, company information, etc., could be diffused throughout the region. This will benefit not just the JSE and the markets in Jamaica, but all of the regional markets. We all are committed to participating in it, and because we all will benefit from it. We at the ECSE are happy to endorse this venture and to thank the JSE for taking the initiative to develop this 24-hour business news channel. We pledge our full support for the channel and commit to collaborating with the JSE and ensuring that our market information is provided on a daily basis. Thank you.
Thanks, Trevor. Really appreciate that. And your endorsement is fully felt in Jamaica. And listen, there is absolutely no competition, only a chance at all times to say how blessed we are. So Jamaica, well, pretty and blessed. So is Barbados, and so are the islands of the Eastern Caribbean. So at every opportunity, when you hear it coming in like it could be a competition, no man, we're all blessed. And so I want to thank you once again, Trevor, for your intervention and certainly your endorsement. And guess who is next online? The man who I gave a little shout out earlier to, right? Cecil Foster, the Managing Director of Fosterridge Group of Companies in Jamaica. Hi, Cecil, good morning, and thank you so much for being determined. Try, and try again, and we finally succeed. We have you online now. Good morning.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm so happy that I am successful in getting onto this wonderful channel tonight, this morning, in order to share Fosterridge's commendation to the Jamaica Stock Exchange and to Dr. Marlene Street Forrest. I'm so sorry if you hear some kind of a disruptive noise in my background. You spoke about digital platform, and right now I am all the way in Rio, Brazil, where we are meeting with the Huawei and their international team for this region to chart the path forward to make solar energy be the most dominant energy source in this region. And I can tell you, it's a tsunami of information and breakthrough that is coming and taking place. And in keeping with what Fosrich is doing, we are very, very happy to have this CBX because the Caribbean, for businesses like Fosrich and so on, the Caribbean means a lot to us. And even on this trip, the energy source that the Caribbean needs to use is something that we have talked about and are talking about, and we need to get it out to every nook and cranny of the Caribbean. No longer can we say that the Jamaica is isolated, or Barbados, or Trinidad. It is a coming together that must take place. And I am seeing this channel as a channel that is bringing companies like Fosrich and others to the Caribbean market. So when our boots go on the ground in these countries to interact with the individual companies, we're not strange. They're not hearing from us for the first time. And so when the team at this Jamaica Stock Exchange shared this idea with the Fosrich team a year or so ago, we never hesitated. And my hesitation maybe lasted for a second or two. But when speaking to Dr. Marlene Street Forest and her enthusiasm that she shared with me, and when we look at the platform that we will have as a company, we at Fosrich committed to be on the platform immediately with sponsorship and support. And so I would encourage other companies to look beyond just the shores of Jamaica and go into the Caribbean and see how you can share the good news of what you have to offer, so each other can benefit, each company in the region can benefit from what you have to offer. I really must say, we at Fosrich take our hats off to the marvelous work that the Jamaica Stock Exchange is doing, led by Dr. Marlene Street Forest and his team. We are fully committed to being a part of this thing. And I think with everyone seeking and needing financial information, I think this channel is going to be a tremendous success. And I say that we are fully on board with you. And it is well needed. And we thank you for giving me this platform to endorse the use of this channel to take the business of Jamaicans outside of the shores of Jamaica. We are looking forward to what will happen and the changes that will take place in our community, business community, and for our countries. I thank you so much, and I wish the Jamaica Stock Exchange all the very best as we move forward in changing the face of how business is done in this Caribbean region and beyond. Thank you.
Hey, Cecil, thank you so much. You know, Jamaican companies can do big things through the stock exchange. Brazil, dealing with moving to solar, that's big news. Thank you, Cecil, and thank you for your determination to ensure that you come and you endorse. And now, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes the monotony of talk can, cause the ear to get a little, so we're gonna liven up your ears and your senses because we have a wonderfully talented Jamaican man who is coming here to perform for you. His area of expertise is really digital communication, but I can tell you, his voice is like that of an angel. Please put your hands together for Mr. Shane Bennett, who will entertain you.
Good morning, everyone. All right, let's try that again. Good morning, everyone. All right, I feel like I need to walk down into the crowd because this is now a business conference. We need to get ourselves good, right? So repeat after me. Don't worry about a thing, because every little thing is going to be all right. Play the track for me, please. Here we go. You need to help me sing this song if you want to stand up or if you want to move, if you want to groove. If you want to be my backing vocals, that's fine. But we're going to have a good time. Get lost in the music and realize that we are here for this very moment, all right? We're not going to worry. We're not going to stress. Everything is going to be quite all right. So rock and sing with me. Here we go. Don't worry about a thing, no, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. I'm singing, don't worry, no, about a thing. Every little thing is gonna be alright. And here's why. I said I rose up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds pitched by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. They were singing, "This is my message to you." Y'all sound so good. Here we go. Singing, don't worry, no, about a thing. We're not gonna worry about a thing today. Oh, every little thing is gonna be alright. Oh, singing, don't worry, no, about a thing. I'm gonna tell you, every little thing is gonna be alright. Hey, I said I rise up this morning, I smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds pitched by my doorstep. They were singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. They were singing, "This is my message to you." Ooh, don't worry, no, about a thing. We're not gonna worry about a thing today. Every little thing is gonna be alright. No, no, don't worry, no, about a thing. Hey, every little thing is gonna be alright. Woo! Alright, cut the track. We're good. Thank you so much. We're gonna do another one quickly. Earlier, Mrs. Street Forest said the launch of the CBX is something that is new, it's innovative, and a very key word. She said, sometimes it's never enough that you don't have enough information. So this song is simply called that. It's called Never Enough. I'm trying to hold my breath. Let it stay this way. Can't let this moment end. You set off a dream in me, getting louder now. Can you hear it echoing? Take my hand. Will you share this with me? 'Cause CBX without you, all the shine of 1,000 spotlights, all the stars we steal from the night sky will never be enough, never be enough. Towers of gold are still too little. These hands could hold the world, but it'll never be enough, never be enough for me. Never, 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 never for me, for me. Never enough, never enough, never enough for me. for me, for me. All the shine of 1,000 spotlights, all the stars we steal from the night sky will never be enough, never be enough. Towers of gold are still too little. These hands could hold the world, but it'll never be enough, never be enough. For me, never, 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 for me, never enough, never enough, never enough, for me, for me, for me.
What did I tell you? I only give factual information. He sounds absolutely adorable. Thank you so much, Shane. Really appreciate it. Can you give me a quick second to just shout out to a few people? So Carol Beckford will also be part of the CBX family. She'll be doing the sports segment. Am I correct, Prendy? Sports. And, you know, sports is big business. So that we've integrated sports on this platform is absolutely fantastic. And by the way, the creative sectors as well must be represented. So thank you so much. And Carol is online watching. Thank you so much. My colleague Debbie Bissoon down there in the audience. Good morning, Debbie. Debbie's normally the one who is doing these matters. So, you know, Debbie, thank you so much for being here and supporting as well. And certainly all the people who are in audience and online. Let's get back to the business of endorsements. We have up next Ms. Eva Mitchell, the Chief Executive Officer of the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, who is online. Good morning, Eva. Hope you're having a wonderful morning in Trinidad, and hope it's as nice and cool at this point in Jamaica as it is in Trinidad. Good morning.
Good morning. I hope everyone is hearing me.
Yes, we are.
Well, good afternoon from Trinidad and Tobago, and good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and members of the media. I am certainly delighted to be with you today on the occasion of the official launching ceremony of CBX. On behalf of the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange and the Trinidad and Tobago Central Depository, we congratulate you, the Jamaica Stock Exchange, on this fantastic and well-needed initiative. Dr. Street Forest, as you already know, you have our full support. I am aware of the hard work required to get a regional television on air, and today's launch is a testament to the strength of the channel's concept, the expertise of your board and management, and the will of everyone involved in this project. The world has changed, and while the COVID crisis has had and will continue to have a profound impact on the economy and on households and businesses, most businesses today are recognizing the need to connect with their customers through multiple channels, including digital media, but not forgetting the traditional media platforms such as radio and TV, which I still pretty much engage in. The Jamaica Stock Exchange continues to emulate this trend in keeping pace with the demand of easy access of market information through vision, foresight, and embracing technology. Through CBX, which complements your existing digital portals in making data readily and easily accessible, I am confident that this platform will drive the number of persons interested in the capital markets, increasing access and growth both locally and regionally. It furthers the agenda to build trust and serve the public by making knowledge and information available to everyone rather than a select few. This initiative continues to break down geographic barriers and takes us closer to reaching the homes of the 44 million people across the Caribbean, not to mention the average 30 million tourists that visit us annually. Our scope and potential is tremendous, and initiatives such as these make us stronger and a stronger united force. So Netflix, watch out. I wish the Jamaica Stock Exchange all the best with CBX, and I know that this achievement is yet another game changer from the Jamaica Stock Exchange, with many, many more to come. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.
Thank you, Eva. You know, I like people who speak visions into reality. Indeed. Yeah, look out, Netflix and the rest of y'all. We're coming to take over. Thank you so much, Eva. Now let's go over to Panama. And the Deputy General Manager of the Panama Stock Exchange is Ms. Marcia Caballero. Good morning, Marcia.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, thank you for inviting me to participate at this launch. It is a pleasure for me and for our stock exchange to join you. A few weeks ago, I had the honor of visiting Jamaica Stock Exchange, and it was really a very good experience for me. I found myself with a team that is on the right track, looking with highlights, new technology development, focuses on expanded market options, in addition to a commitment aligned with new trends at the sustainability, which sends a message that says that we are not only profitable companies, but we are also taking care of our environment. If our surroundings are not good, we cannot move forward, and the GSC has that commitment very seriously. This channel is one of the tools that we need for the world to know about us, that despite being small, we have a lot to offer to the market. When this news reaches everyone, it is the same investor who will knock our door to ask more, and from there, alliances, integrations, and new products will be born. At the end of my visit, when I thank to the teams for all the excellent treatment and support they gave us, because everything was perfect, everything was very professional, the response was, we don't know how else to do it. This is the message that should reach to the market, that besides doing business, we have knowledge, we have vision, we have commitments, we contribute to our society, we are responsible, we take care of our environment, and we have human quality where the investor feels welcome and supported. Congratulations to the GSE and success in everything you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia. I really appreciate that. Thank you for joining us all the way from Panama. And now let's go over to Mr. Dirk Jan de Graaf, the Chief Executive Officer of the Dutch Caribbean Securities Exchange. Good morning, Dirk, from Kingston, Jamaica. I believe it's afternoon where you are. Dirk, good morning. I believe it's a video. Okay, so it's a video from Dirk. Well,
Dear Mr. Street Forest, dear colleagues of the Jamaican Stock Exchange, and dear audience. My name is Dirk Jan de Graaf, and I'm the CEO of the Dutch Caribbean Securities Exchange based in Curaçao. Unfortunately, I'm not able to join you today physically as I'm not in Jamaica, but I'm in Europe right now. However, I'm delighted to have the opportunity to congratulate JSE with this video, with the historic launch of the Caribbean Business Exchange channel. A great initiative by our partners of the JSE, who have been already so successful in developing a liquid local SME market. It's a true example for us on Curaçao. The launch of CBX is another major step in the development of JSE, not only locally, but also in the Caribbean region. We very much appreciate these initiatives in the Dutch Caribbean, and we certainly like to team up with you and to join forces to make the regional success. We strongly believe that these type of initiatives will open up our combined markets to Latin and South America, and in due time will deliver our exchanges access to European capital, trying to find its way in our local and regional markets. JSE proved to be very successful in building an exchange and creating the relevant awareness within its local investor community. Now it's time to create further awareness in the Caribbean region. In Curaçao, we love to work with partner exchanges in the region as well as within Europe. We more than welcome the CBX initiative and we wish you all the best. Good luck and regards from Amsterdam. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Dirk, for endorsing and sending the video message. And now another video message, a gentleman that really and truly knows his forte. He knows telecoms business, and someone I used to work with as well. I'm absolutely proud of his own growth and development in the telecom space. Mr. Delroy McLean, the Senior Director of Enterprise at C&W Business.
Good morning. I'm pleased to bring greetings on behalf of Flow's Vice President and General Manager, Stephen Price, who's unable to join this morning. The launch of the Caribbean Business Exchange, CBX, signals a new era of increased access to credible local, regional, and international news in a format that can be easily consumed by the masses. We have seen the positive impact that the mainstreaming of financial information has had on the investing habits of Jamaicans, with more companies now listing and citizens investing in the stock exchange than ever before, thereby creating wealth for themselves and others within their communities. As Jamaica's leading full-service communications and entertainment provider, we understand the great impact that having access to information curated by the region for the region can have on the development of a society and the economic gains that can be realized if a country has a populace that is informed and empowered. We are proud to be the premier facilitator of such information sharing and citizen empowerment through the strength of our fiber-fast network that connects users to the content they need to keep abreast of topical issues and informed decision-making. Since 2020, we have invested over $300 million in the expansion of our fiber optic network across the length and breadth of the island to ensure that Jamaicans have access to fast, reliable internet and can access sophisticated cable TV services, which also facilitates this content. Through our services provided by our Flow, C&W Business, and Flow Business brands, individuals can keep in touch, business operators can serve their customers, and government ministries, departments, and agencies can provide the services critical for the national development. Just as our network is the foundation of growth in so many sectors and industries, we envision CBX becoming the cornerstone of financial and investing knowledge, sharing in the local media landscape, and we look forward to great things from this amazing venture. Our heartiest congratulations to you, Dr. Street Forest, and your team on the launch of the CBX, and we wish you every success.
Thank you so much, Delroy. Really appreciate it. You know, ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking around in almost abstract form about CBX. But now, let's have a little feature, a video on CBX so you can actually practically see what it's about.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange, JSE, has been operating for over 50 years with a mandate to mobilize capital. The JSE has done this not only to grow business and create wealth for investors, but in doing so has become a part of the economic foundation of the country. Hence, the exchange is not only known for the 5 markets which it operates, main market, junior market, US dollar market, bond market, private market, but it is also recognized for its efficient depository services. The JSE's Depository Services Unit provides clearing and settlement, custody services, pledging of securities, mandate processing, and audit confirmation, among other corporate secretarial services. We are a firm believer in transparency and effective regulation. Hence, the JSE was demutualized in 2008. This saw the establishment of the Regulatory Market Oversight Division to ensure that the JSE's commercial and regulatory arms operate as independent units to allow for proper corporate fiduciary fiduciary management. This process has strengthened our listed companies to be better able to manage disruptions and usually to merge as stronger institutions. Through hard work and input of all market participants, the JSE has been twice recognized by Bloomberg as the best performing stock exchange in the world in 2015 and 2018. The JSE is also recognized for hosting the leading investments and capital markets conferences in the Caribbean, and we want to become known to host the leading conferences in the world. The stock exchange has not only looked to facilitate business success, but also looked at how to give back to society. And out of that was born the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, JSSE, which has risen to the occasion and has been contributing well in reshaping the social fabric of our society. The JSE is well aware of the need for market education for sustainability through a well-trained workforce. Therefore, the JSE has developed accredited e-campus programs to ensure that the industry at all professional levels has the cadre of staff that is needed to propel it forward. Please visit the eCampus student portal at ecampus.jamstockx.com. Please visit the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange at jsse.jamstockx.com. For more about the Jamaica Stock Exchange, please visit jamstockx.com. What's next for the JSE? The Caribbean Business Exchange Cable Television Channel. Your region, your business, your source.
Indeed. Your region, your business, your source. That's next on the horizon. And all those very informative pieces concerning the work of the stock exchange, certainly, and certainly those in the region, you'll be able to see on CBX. And now, ladies and gentlemen, ahead of our guest speaker, may I re-invite, because we invited him one time already, right? Re-invite Mr. Shane Bennett to give us a selection.
You can go ahead. You see, sometimes we need people in our corner, on our side. And so this song simply says that. If you know it, you can help me sing. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrows, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be a friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. See, I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be a friend. Yeah, yeah. Oh, see, I just might have a problem that you'll understand. Yeah, we all need somebody to lean. Hey, lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother. Oh, oh, oh. Lean on me, call on me. Just call on me. Call on me. Call on me. You can call on me, please call me.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much, Shane Bennett, for being our entertainer this morning. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I have the privilege of introducing to you our guest speaker, Therese Turner-Jones. She's the principal consultant for Max Gwen Limited, a company she formed to provide policy and strategic advice to governments and the private sector. Mrs. Turner-Jones was recently the Inter-American Development Bank's general manager for the Caribbean, as well as country representative for Jamaica. Her responsibilities covered the IDB sovereign and private sector operations in Barbados, Guyana, Jamaica, Suriname, Trinidad and Tobago, and her home country, the Bahamas. And all this time I thought she was Jamaican. Hey, she's been here that long. A trained economist, Mrs. Turner-Jones has close to 30 years' experience in macroeconomics and economic development. That means, hashtag, she's been doing it since Shaban, especially in the Caribbean. She served the International Monetary Fund in senior posts for over 20 years. And again, she don't look a day over the years that she has experience. So clearly, it's from birth that this has been happening, right? Mrs. Turner-Jones holds a master's degree in economics from the University of East Anglia in the United Kingdom, and she is also an alumnus of the University of Toronto and the United World's College, Leicester Preston College. A member of the International Women's Forum, Mrs. Turner-Jones is passionate about financial inclusion, gender equity, children, vulnerable communities, and the environment. And there are so many other great things to her. You know, Jamaicans have a saying, when you have a good thing, you can't lose it. Mrs. Turner-Jones, though not in her regular capacities, is absolutely loved in Jamaica. And she's done a wonderful job in her capacities serving us in Jamaica. And we couldn't let her go at all. So there's nowhere else to go but staying in Jamaica. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mrs. Therese Turner-Jones, our guest speaker this morning.
Thank you so much, everyone. It's been a long morning. And I must say, what I miss most about Jamaican events is having this combination of professional and creative aspects come together, because I think as human beings, we need that for our spirits. So I thank you, Shane, for those wonderful renditions that really stirred us this morning. My association with the Jamaica Stock Exchange and with Dr. Street Forest goes back a long way. And I must say, it brings me a lot of pleasure, and I'm really honored to be here to celebrate another milestone in the life of Jamaica Stock Exchange. We were talking before we started about the role the IDB played in getting the Jamaica Stock Exchange to where it is. And I want to say I had a little bit to, some contribution in that. And so this brings me back full circle. The last time I was actually on this campus, though, was one of the ringing of the bell ceremonies during International Women's Day, something I'm also missing and something we've missed for a few years. And so I'm really, really happy that we can meet like this. And shall I just say to our colleagues who are virtually present and to those who produce videos for today's event, it's really heartwarming to see the region coming together to support Jamaica and owning this product, the CBX. So I think we're in for a treat. And I would say it's not so much Netflix, watch out, it's Bloomberg, watch out, because that's where we're aiming, that CBX will be our Caribbean Bloomberg. And I think we have the content, we have the creative talents, and we also have the audience that's yearning for this kind of development. So I just want to say congratulations to Marlene especially, but also to the whole team at the JSE for this. Now, all of this, of course, thinking about the context in which we're living today, and I have, as I want to do, I want to challenge the audience today about why we're here, why this is important, but also to put it in the context of where the world is, which, as you know, is not a pretty place, right? We're emerging out of a pandemic. There's a war in Ukraine, in Europe, that's been going on with absolutely no end in sight. We're still experiencing supply chain bottlenecks as a result of COVID. We're experiencing sharp increases in inflation, even though I'm really heartened to hear that the Bank of Jamaica governor yesterday talked about inflation coming down somewhat, but still double-digit inflation is not what we would have expected at this point. And we have a challenging policy environment. I would not like to be a Minister of Finance or a central bank governor at this time. The choices are really quite severe. And even looking at decisions that the US government has to make around inflation today, it's really difficult. So this is to say that in a moment of crisis, this is where our best creative juices, I think, begin to flow because our backs are against the wall, and so we have to come up with innovative solutions. And of course, I didn't even mention, but we're all aware of this, we're also facing a climate crisis. Now, one way to look at solutions, of course, is to think through the Sustainable Development Goals of the UN, and all around this room, there are references to sustainable social growth through partnerships. And I want to say that if we keep that in the back of our mind as a framework for thinking through solutions, I think we come very clearly to how we should be approaching improving the business environment in Jamaica and the private sector, but also how companies and businesses should be looking at all of these challenges that we face. Now, for the Caribbean, which is a small, emerging, developing region, what's happening in the bigger world has an even greater oversized impact on us, which means that, and again, I'm picking up on a theme for today, that the fact that the CBX wants to disseminate information is crucial because only through knowledge can we transform hope into opportunity. And I want you to hold on to that thought, hope into opportunity through knowledge. And I think the CBX has as its goal to do exactly that. I want to share just a little story on how I think the Jamaica Stock Exchange is affecting the average person. Last week at the supermarket, one of the young men who helps me take my groceries to my car said to me, this week I'm going down to the Jamaica Stock Exchange to open up a bank account for my son. Now, this is a supermarket worker, an average Jamaican who already has in his mind that one way to create wealth for the next generation, his son, is to open up an account at the Jamaica Stock Exchange. I was beaming, and this is before I knew that I would be here sharing with you today some of my thoughts on what should be happening. In terms of context, though, and my addresses always have some salt and some sugar in them. And I want to first present some salt. And the salt here is that the environment we're operating in is difficult. And if I look at the recent production from the Caribbean Department of the Inter-American Development Bank, which I used to manage, they produced a marvelous economic bulletin just last month. And it focuses on finance for small firms. And in it, there's a wealth of data, and some of this I knew by heart because I was associated with some of the survey results back in 2014, but also in 2020. And I want to share with you some of the results that I think are relevant for the discussion today and what you're about to do. First of all, if we think about financial deepening, what do we mean by that? And I think there's been a lot of education around financial literacy. What do we mean by financial deepening, and how do we measure financial deepening, and why is that important for economic growth? And when we talk as economists about financial deepening, what we're talking about is really how much private sector credit there is as a share of GDP. And we focus on private sector credit because the private sector really is the engine of growth, and so that's an important ratio to keep in mind. If I look at the Caribbean, I would say that we can do better with this ratio. So the Latin American Caribbean average is 60%. And it's higher, that average for all of Latin America and the Caribbean at 60% is higher than 5 of 6 Caribbean countries in the study. So with Barbados coming in at the highest at 80%, Jamaica at just over 56%, the Bahamas at 46%, Trinidad and Tobago at 45%, Guyana at 39%, and Suriname at 24%. So there's a huge, huge amount of work that needs to be done to improve this. However, when I look at other middle and high-income countries, the gap is even wider. So 120 is the ratio for middle-income countries, and 165 is the ratio for high-income countries. So we have a way to go. And if we compare ourselves with other small countries around the world, that average is 95%. So that means that there's a lot that needs to be done to get more credit, more finance into the hands of the private sector. Think new entrepreneurs, think new business owners, and so on. And that's one of the reasons why growth in this region could be underperforming. On the other hand, if I look at the Caribbean stock exchanges, we find that they're highly capitalized. You know this already. Relative to Caribbean GDP. This is good news. The Latin American and Caribbean average is only 46%, and that's lower than 4 countries in our region. So Trinidad and Tobago comes in the highest at 91, Jamaica at 85, Barbados at 64, and the Bahamas at 48. However, a little bit of a challenging news is turnover ratio, and I think, of course, those of you who are brokers here and the Jamaica Stock Exchange knows this already. But our turnover ratio is no higher than 1%. So the highest was 1%, and that was for Trinidad and Tobago. And that compares very unfavorably with the Latin American Caribbean average of 54% and middle-income countries of almost 79%. So there is a lot of room for looking at where are those opportunities to create more turnover, more movement in the stock exchange. And I would challenge the CBX as one of the topics that you may think of covering is how to change this. Because that means that there are opportunities that we're missing. There are opportunities to have not just more participants in the market, but to have those participants do more turnover of the holdings that they do have. Now, economists can find lots of ways to explain this. And one, of course, is just the actual amount of savings in the Caribbean is very little. So it's not necessarily the fault of the stock exchanges, but the fact that we have a dearth of investors because savings are either packed away somewhere else, maybe invested in government bonds or maybe in commercial banks, but we have to find ways to drive those savings into our stock exchanges to get more bang for the buck. I want to share, though, a couple of what I think would be some really good insights for not just CBX, but for companies who are listing, for companies who are thinking about listing, and how I see it as helping to improve the overall environment in the Caribbean. There's been a lot of talk already about information and data and building knowledge. Building knowledge is my first point. Information and the use of data. We've heard a lot already about misinformation, the plethora of information that's out there. But what about accurate information? And how does information, especially data, inform decisions that corporates make? Whether it's on market demand, whether it's on knowing your customer or products in the market. But data is key to growing any particular business. Studies from 2014 and 2020 on the private sector in the Caribbean reveal that less than a third of our firms actually do any research and development. Again, here is another opportunity, And in steps a company like Blue Dot, for example, which, and I'm very proud, I think most of you in this room have heard of Blue Dot, but Blue Dot recognizes that a lot of data analytics are actually not being used. So we're collecting data, but that information is not being used. Laren and his team, including a neuroscientist, have come up with ways to analyze that data and provide market information to firms. I think it's a fantastic idea. NCB speaker spoke about using market data, using information, and carrying information through a digital platform and making information available not just to our customers, but also within companies. And I think the more digital platforms we have, the better off our firms can be, but also the more we can understand how to improve markets. I want to say that anybody who's known my work at the IDB know that I'm a big proponent of digital transformation. We've seen a lot of digital transformation over the course of the pandemic. We are now operating literally in a digital environment. We have a hybrid event. We have folks who are online and people who are watching this on YouTube. And this is the new normal. We are not going back to doing business the way we did business in 2019. And employers have found this out. Employees know this, and employees have a lot of leverage right now, actually. Not going back into buildings. I know this because the IDB building, which can hold probably 80 staff, on a very good day, maybe 10 people are in the building. So we have to find ways to use our digital platforms better, not just to reach our clients, but to do our jobs differently. And we have to rethink how we measure efficiency. So, it's not about monitoring whether, all of your employees are sitting behind a desk from 9 to 5, but what is the output that your employees are actually contributing, and how is that measuring up in terms of your bottom line? So I want to say embrace digital transformation, use it to derive the best analytics you can, not only to know your clients, but also to come up with the best product for your customers. Second point is build networks. Around here, there are a lot of messages around partnerships. And that Lean on Me song really resonated because, as Marlene and I were talking about, in the absence of the partnership of the IDB many years ago, perhaps we would not be doing what we're doing today. Not that the IDB wants to take full credit for that, but I think partnerships, whether it's with multilateral development banks, whether it's with institutions like IDB Invest or IFC or the DBJ and CDB and others, these partnerships have to be developed in order to grow your business. And I think the private sector typically look at these institutions as only having sovereign interests. And yes, principally, most of the lending goes to governments. But all of these institutions have private sector arms which can help you either provide additional technical expertise or help you solve a problem. So talk about lean on me, lean on those partnerships and work into them. Be specific, though, with what you need. Be specific with your ask. And I say this especially to financial institutions, especially those that are in the room, that there are ways in which more finance can reach smaller enterprises in this region if you took advantage of the credit guarantees that are being offered. Obviously, a commercial bank may not have that as their primary interest, but that's one way you can leverage the multilateral institutions' resources to help you build your client base and also invest more in productive activities throughout this region. Thirdly, I think we want to work on this notion of trust. And I see part of CBX's mission is to bring more transparency to the market, not just about understanding the companies that investors will be investing in, but how do you get that trust to really be prevalent throughout society? The bad news on trust in our region is we are a very low trust region. We have data on this. In 2018, we did a study on institutions, and the saddest conclusion was that Caribbean countries exhibit low levels of trust in politicians, at 40% the level of trust in OECD countries. Why is this important? We concluded that in the absence of general trust in politicians, this is likely to be preventing the emergence of reinforcing virtuous circles for productivity and growth. And I think for those of you who know a little bit about economics, who look at countries around the world countries that are growing very fast, what is the common thread right throughout those countries is that there is a lot of trust in institutions, in the rule of law, in the way institutions work and perform, and then also in democratic processes. Now, we're seeing some of the worst of that around the world today, but I think we need to work on trust. And Marlene, if I should say one thing about, another topic for the CBX would be to explore this in a little bit more depth. How can we build more trust in Caribbean society by focusing on what is important? And one of the reasons, for example, why there is a lack of take-up for online banking is because average Caribbean people do not trust banks. Do not trust banks. And that's a serious issue because we know most of the banks operating in our region want to close brick and mortar institutions. Is that not correct? Even NCB would rather shutter some physical branches to bring more products to the market in a digital way. But our society is not quite ready because we do not trust each other. And this is a serious issue. And those of you who have employees know that this is a serious issue. And this trust, of course, is very much linked to the perception of corruption. And it's a complex topic, but I think the absence of trust can spill over into trust in the private sector. And as I mentioned, especially in the financial institutions, and it will affect the way, of course, there is growth in the stock exchange as well as growth in, say, the acceptance of a digital currency that many central banks around this region are trying to deploy. But the average citizen is looking at this and sort of like, well, I'm not so sure the sand dollar is what I want, or the CBDC at the Bank of Jamaica is what I want. How does it work? We have a lot of work to do, a lot of awareness raising around how these products can actually provide more financial services for the average person. And so here, again, another challenge for the CBX. My fourth point is a culture of innovation. We can't avoid it today. We've lived through 2 years of working at home. We've seen businesses go online. Businesses have had to innovate. New companies are emerging. New ways of delivering services, including health services. Who would have thought that you could drive through and get a blood test or do a COVID test and have your results in 30 minutes? That was something unheard of. We didn't know we needed that. Now it's there. And now companies have the capacity to deliver those kinds of services in a very convenient way. We need more innovation, and across all sectors, not just in health. Think about agriculture. Are there other ways of producing agricultural produce in our region, given that climate change is a clear and present danger? We have less rain, we have more unpredictable rainy seasons, sometimes we have too much rain, and farmers are trying to figure out how best to protect their crops. Around the world now, crops are being produced in factories, in buildings, without having to need rain, because agriculture is about science, it's really about seeds, it's about how to do it differently, and we need to keep up that culture of innovation throughout our businesses. And my last point for today is about inclusion. And it's not just about financial inclusion, which of course is the big piece for today, but it's about inclusion of everyone in society. It's about gender equality. It's going back to one of the SDGs on gender equality. And how can we improve the way in which businesses, for example, cope with the needs of women in their businesses or cater to the needs of women in their businesses? Women, by the way, make most of the financial decisions in most households. So to ignore women is to ignore a segment of your market at your peril. And just to go back to the quarterly bulletin of July, there's a nice piece where women-owned firms are analyzed, and the views of women and why they're not accessing finance through their traditional sources is digested there. And some of the reasons are more exacerbated than those for your average other firm. So pay special attention to women-owned businesses, and let's try to figure out how we can drive more finance to women-owned businesses. And finally, I think the private sector needs to look very carefully, as most corporates now around the world are doing, at the whole issue of sustainability. Marlene mentioned this earlier, investing for impact. Sustainability and the circular economy, to me, is what will drive more investors into markets such as ours, because not only is it good for business to be protecting the planet, it's good for all of us. And so think about green bonds, think about pink bonds, think about other types of bonds that can be delivered to certain segments of the market as a way of driving private sector growth. That's it. I know it's been a long morning. I hope I provided a little bit of salt and some sugar. I think this is a very exciting new venture that will really help Caribbean investors not just understand markets better, understand the corporates that are working in our region better, but also help the average person make some serious decisions about their financial health and improve wealth throughout our region. We need it desperately. I thank you, and congratulations again to the JSE.
Thank you, Therese. You finished strong, because we really, that last point resonated so much. We really need it. Thank you for highlighting the issues and the opportunities that we face now. This matter of trust, I think certainly this channel will go a far way in building that commodity of trust that so eludes us sometimes because of issues of transparency. And certainly with the mission and vision of the stock exchange, and of course our place on the global market, the global scene, being the #1 stock exchange year upon year in several years, that certainly will change perspectives and shift the tide a little bit to ensure that certainly if it not happen with our generation, as my grandmother used to say, if it not happen with my generation, it must happen with the next, right? So thank you so much. I really appreciate that presentation and your insightful words as well. Can I just give a shout out, really, because this thing is taking off bigger than we actually imagine. The Bible talks about exceedingly abundantly. Well, let me tell you, we have persons online from as far as Oman joining us. Give them a round of applause, everybody. And of course, we have our friends in Curacao, in Amsterdam, our friends in St. Kitts, and other areas joining us. But thank you so much, everybody, for being part of this launch this morning. We allotted 2 hours, and we're just about at 2 hours. We only have the ribbon cutting to do. But before we do that, may I invite the Managing Director of the Stock Exchange, Dr. Marlene Street Forrest, to come forward for a special presentation. Doc? It's right here, never. It's on that side. Huh? Yes. May I also invite our guest speaker, Therese Turner-Jones, to come on stage as well. If you could, ladies, come in the middle for us, please.
The person in Oman or something.
Yes. And Dr. Street Forrest is just saying thank you for the insightful presentation. Yeah, thank you so much, Mrs. Turner-Jones. We really appreciate your thought leadership in Jamaica. That's something that we really need to build out more in Jamaica. Thought leaders, Jamaicans don't feel bashful about giving their opinion, but we really need strong thought leaders to help in the development of our nation. And so now, ladies and gentlemen, may I invite to do the official ribbon cutting? Gentlemen, are we ready for the official ribbon cutting and confetti release and these wonderful things to herald a historic day, the start of the CBX? May I invite to join us for the ribbon cutting Dr. Marlene Street Forrest, Mrs. Therese Turner-Jones, Ms. Andrea Kelly, Lloyd Wilkes, Dr. Henley Morgan, Lloyd Distant, Miss Broadba, and of course Tracy, if you could. It's big things, so enough people should be in there. In fact, if all of Jamaica could be in there, we'd put them in, right? So Michael and Neville and the rest of the team. And we'll also have Michael McNaughton as part of the picture as well. Neville and Mike from Stock Exchange will guide exactly how we do the symbolic ribbon cutting. And just a little FYI while we do this, as soon as the ribbon is cut, it will mark 2 hours, exactly 2 hours that was allotted. So we've kept on time, which is very good. Also, let me just note that JetCon, one of our companies here, is also here, and they're displaying 2 vehicles outside. So after we end, you probably will be able to go out. And Mr. Donovan Watkins, hey Donovan, how are you? Donovan will also have a segment on CBX looking at, and as I said before, the sporting industry and the creative industries. You have to find a way to monetize them. These are indigenous to us. And we're gonna find a way. Donovan has been leading the cause. You can see him every Friday night on TV in Jamaica. But more importantly, too, he does have a book that he's written. It's 2 books now, right, Donovan? Not just 3. There you go. One of our thought leaders, especially in the field of the creative sector. So he'll be here and he'll be doing a book signing as well. And so now, ladies and gentlemen, let us cut the ribbon to start officially CBX. Well, all right, this is what you're calling fine style. Thank you, everyone. Can we just do a little pose for the cameras as well? Look to the camera as we did the cutting. Fantastic. All right, thank you, everyone. And we can now officially say that CBX is a reality. Thank you so much. Mike, if you would. And now our final act this afternoon is our vote of thanks. For that, may we invite Mr. Andre Gooden, the Business Development Manager here at the Jamaica Stock Exchange, to move the vote of thanks. Andre?
Thank you, Naomi. We have a short launch video to show on CBX, which is less than 2 minutes, which we will show now, and then I will very, very briefly move the vote of thanks. So, Kemar, you may go ahead.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange always looks for opportunities. And when we look at our strategic direction, we recognize that globally, exchanges are now concentrating on how they monetize data. The stock exchange has had data from as far back as 1969, which we believe that investors and issuers need in order to make informed decisions. Now, how do you do that? How do you get that across to the various constituents? It is in using technology in order to make that information available. And so, as it relates to the monetizing of data, the Jamaica Stock Exchange saw that there were various avenues. One, cable television. Two, the use of your iPad, the use of your telephone, in order to ensure that you have that information at your fingertip. We have looked at many exchanges worldwide, and we have seen how they have been able to package these data for their investors, their issuers, and we intend to do the same, not only for investors in Jamaica, but obviously, as our name suggests, Caribbean Business Exchange right across the region. We are sure that how we package this data will attract you, the viewers, because it is intended to be hard data, however, in an entertaining manner, in an engaging manner, and so that you will be able to utilize it and get the benefit that accrue from these analyses.
About 10 years ago, the Stock Exchange's strategic plan realized a gap as it relates to market participation and market education. So we adopted an initiative really to increase market participation by creating an education program that not just took place in Jamaica, but in the diaspora as well. When we traveled overseas, there was an insatiable appetite by everyone participating in any of our fora for knowledge and information on the Jamaican market, the Caribbean markets, and how to invest on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. So we made deliberate attempts to really go full force into increasing access to the market, increasing access to information on the market. And even now, when we have our fora across the world, the appetite is still very high. So as a result of that, our programs won't be one-sided. They won't be all high-level sophistication. It will be a combination, really, of education, information, appealing to all sectors of the demographic landscape that we're working with. So this is the advent and the mission of CBX, to continue to disseminate information to the market with a view, of course, to increasing market participation and increasing the investment options available to not just Jamaica, Caribbean, but to the world.
The team at the Jamaica Stock Exchange was very proactive in making sure that significant time and money was spent in procuring the equipment needed for our studio and control room to ensure that quality production and post-production was the norm of the Caribbean Business Exchange. Thus, we intend to offer you a diversity of business programs, locally, regionally, and internationally, bringing to you up-to-date business information from across the globe on a timely manner to ensure that you make the best possible decisions. We aim to package the information to you in an appealing manner while seeking to impact every cohort in a very positive way. The young audience must be prepared for programs that will attract their taste buds as we tailor to their needs, while the not so young will also be engaged in our pursuit to transform how business information is presented in this region. The journey begins now. Travel with us.
Thank you again. Just want to quickly thank, first of all, our board, led by Mr. Julian Mayer, who could not be here, but I'll thank the other board members here representing for giving us the buy-in, having the buy-in and giving us the endorsement to go ahead with this venture, which we thank you for. To the project team, led by Dr. Marlene Street Forrest, of course, Fitzroy Prendergast, the IT team, the HR team, marketing, the business development team, my assistant Nicole, who a lot of you would have had your inboxes inundated in the last few days as she took care of some of the technical details, administrative details relating to this actual event. Certainly, Madam Master of Ceremonies, we thank you for skillfully leading us through the program. Andrea Kelly, for your warm prayer, starting us off on the right foot. Thank you to our Managing Director for her usual insightful and encouraging opening remarks. To our sponsors and participants who brought endorsements, Tracy Ann Spence, COO, NCB Capital Markets, Lloyd Distant, immediate past president, Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, Dane Broadbell, interim CEO of Barita Investments, to Cecil Foster, all the way from Rio de Janeiro, Fosterich Company Limited, and to our partner exchanges, Mr. Trevor Blake, Eastern Caribbean Stock Exchange, Mr. Marlon Yard, Barbados Stock Exchange, Miss Eva Mitchell, Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, to Maria Caballero from Panama Stock Exchange, Dirk Jan de Graaf from the Dutch Caribbean Securities Exchange, and of course to Delroy McLean, our business partner from C&W Business. We also have a lot of respect at the stock exchange for the orange economy, the creative industries. And hello to Debbie Bessoon and of course to Donovan Watkins. We thank Shane Barrett for sharing his talent with us. Amazing talent. Shane Bennett, beg your pardon. It's the first I've ever experienced his presentation, and I thought it was really spectacular. To our guest speaker, my fitness partner, Therese, we thank you for the sugar and the salt. We thank you for skillfully presenting the salt and addressing some of those topics that we try to avoid, but are inevitable that we have to address them. We thank you for your time. Dr. Forrest has already presented you with a token of gratitude. So again, we thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we will have kept you here for quite a while. So to my right, we'll have some refreshments for you before you depart. We hope that you will stay with us for a little while. We thank you for the online audience for staying with us as well. And we look forward to your continued support. Advertisers, we have an audience already for you to advertise, whose eyes are waiting on your products and services. So please contact us, and we're willing to present your products and services on CBX to our discerning audience. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good rest of the afternoon.
Spoken like a true business development manager. Thank you so much, everyone. Andre, you did it brilliantly in terms of the vote of thanks. And let me just say, have a beautiful day, everybody. Thank you. God bless, and see you sometime soon. Remember, the channel to watch, CDX on Flow 143 and Digicel on channel 28. Good afternoon, everyone.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange, JSE, has been operating for over 50 years with a mandate to mobilize capital. The JSE has done this not only to grow business and create wealth for investors, but in doing so has become a part of the economic foundation of the country. Hence, the exchange is not only known for the 5 markets which it operates: main market, junior market, US dollar market, bond market, private market, but it is also recognized for its efficient depository services. The JSE's Depository Services Unit provides clearing and settlement, custody services, pledging of securities, mandate processing, and audit confirmation, among other corporate secretarial services. We are a firm believer in transparency and effective regulation. Hence, the JSE was demutualized in 2008. This saw the establishment of the Regulatory Market Oversight Division to ensure that the JSE's commercial and regulatory arms operate as independent units to allow for proper corporate fiduciary management. This process has strengthened our listed companies to be better able to manage disruptions and usually to merge as stronger institutions. Through hard work and input of all market participants, the JSE has been twice recognized by Bloomberg as the best performing stock exchange in the world in 2015 and 2018. The JSE is also recognized for hosting the leading investments and capital markets conferences in the Caribbean, and we want to become known to host the leading conferences in the world. The Stock Exchange has not only looked to facilitate business success, but also looked at how to give back to society. And out of that was born the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, JSSE, which has risen to the occasion and has been contributing well in reshaping the social fabric of our society. The JSE is well aware of the need for market education for sustainability through a well-trained workforce. Therefore, the JSE has developed accredited e-campus programs to ensure that the industry at all professional levels has the cadre of staff that is needed to propel it forward. Please visit the eCampus student portal at ecampus.jamstockx.com. Please visit the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange at jsse.jamstockx.com. For more about the Jamaica Stock Exchange, please visit jamstockx.com. What's next for the JSE? The Caribbean Business Exchange Cable Television Channel. Your region, your business, your source.
So to me days are shine. Early one Sunday morning, I got my paper, started to read it. Phone around with a little voice saying, you might not remember me, but I wanna dance with you. Ever since the night we met, girl, I must tell you true. You danced into my life, never out of my mind. Now between me and her, so long, she said, I just want us not to get closer. Oh, no, she asked me now. I just mean that I can't. Oh, no, I can't go. She asked me now. Yeah, must have been feeling so. Yeah. All the things I love to do, and all the things I love to. I cherish every moment that you're around. I might not show it, cause I can't find the words to say. I try to say I love you, but I get tongue-tied. These stuttery words, failing everywhere. I wish you would stay longer. Yeah, bright up my life like Disney World. I wish you would stay longer. Oh, na, say, but just like magic, you got must find a way to keep you all to myself. Then I retire from staying out so late at night. When we were all together, yes, we can play doctor and nurse. Yes. If it should be forever, baby, we should get it right. You would stay longer. Right up. Just like magic, you're gone. So tired. What a confrontation this will be. Now look at me, add up. Wanna go, yeah. Don't know what to do or what I should see, but I gotta. Before night turns to day, be early. She told me, I'll be waiting for you, honey, and I'll make. But how am I gonna winter? I can't afford to wake up. The lipstick stains. Sing for me, family. Your love is waiting. Rest up. I'm tired, I'm sleeping, can't take another day. Your trouble is waiting, it's wrapped up in my bed. So Dad, I wanna go home. Imagine this is my gate. Wonder if she's awake or asleep. But if I know her well, she's somewhere taking a peek. What will my story be now? Cause this one better be good. Tell me, should I tell her I had a confrontation with Robin Hood? Yeah, she told me, yes, I'll be waiting for you, honey. I'll make something special for you. How am I gonna wait? I can't afford to wait with lipstick stains. I've got to go. Say for me, hey, young child is waiting. It's black to be morning. I'm tired of sleeping. Can't take it all again. Young child is waiting. It's black to be morning. Tired. Tired, 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 yes, tired. I want to go home. Everybody come together again and just dance and sing. Give me. Every time I think of saying goodbye, everything inside me says slide. So you know I can't. No, I can't. I can't. Woman, you